we need to start this podcast by saying congratulations, because Quincy got that second contract. That is a big deal when you're a professional athlete. You know, obviously much better than I do, see, but a huge deal when you're an NFL player. So, Quincy, congratulations, man.
Appreciate it.
What? Congrats. What's the first thing you bought?
The first thing I bought, oh man, the first thing I bought was a house.
Nice,
man.
A house. Yeah. Finally got my own little piece of land, something I can call my own. It's great. It felt great for real.
Nice. Where you don't have to give specifics with the address, but what region of the country did you buy?
Georgia, Atlanta. We're gonna just say Atlanta, Georgia, right outside Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay. Nice, man. Nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice.
It's closer to home from Birmingham, Alabama, so it's like closer to home. So
yeah,
my brother lived like 20 minutes from me, so I was trying to like stay in the same neighborhood.
Oh, that's perfect, man.
Perfect.
That's the way to do. And because brother is expecting a baby soon too, right?
Hey, trust me, I've already been having long nights just running errands and stuff, and it's just really just get to be a lot of help with that. Also, yeah. I think I'm more excited about it than he is, for real. I went and bought little outfits. I already got shoes already. And then my runner just keep telling me, it was like, she's going to grow out of them. And I'm just like, well, she going to be fresh when she in them.
That's right, man. Hey, let me tell you, as someone who lives close to my sister and brother-in-law and nephews, and I have a kid myself, it is amazing when you have that support nearby. First of all, it's fun. But second of all, like, Uncle Quincy's going to be called on a lot for different things.
Oh, yeah.
Makes it a good time. So, Quincy, there's a story about how you got the news that your contract was happening this offseason. And it sounds amazing. It sounds like you basically got the news at the best possible time to celebrate good news, which was your best friend's bachelor party? Yeah,
so my brother, actually, he's like my brother, I'm going to be honest with you. And we actually have the same name. His name is Lamont. My middle name is Lamont. He's my best friend. So I was hosting a bachelor party for him. And all of a sudden I got the call from my agent. And she was like, do you have somewhere quiet to talk? And I was like, yeah, I'm going to go outside. And she was like, no, even quieter. So I asked one of the managers that was at the restaurant when I was in Houston. And I was just like, bro, you got a place I can talk to just like real quiet? And then we went into the kitchen. And it was still kind of like loud. And I was like, I'm finna go in this freezer real quick. And so I started it off. I was like, you won't believe where I'm at. And she was like, where? I said, I'm in the freezer.
Like one of those huge walk-in freezers.
Yeah, one of the huge walk-in freezers. I mean, I'm sitting over there playing with the grapes or whatever, eating the grapes.
Oh, that's amazing.
Did you go back out and tell everybody the news after you got off the phone with your agent?
So actually, before we even hung up, I agreed to it. And then before we even hung up, my phone just was going ding, 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 ding. And they actually were looking for me because it popped up on their phone first. And they thought I like knew about it, didn't tell them. And I like walked out and they were like celebrating. I was like, like, oh yeah. I said, I got something else to tell y'all. And they was like, you signed your new contract? I said, how y'all know
that? Wait, so
that's crazy.
That's crazy. In the time that you got off the phone, as you're walking back to them, the news had already broken?
Yeah.
That is nuts.
And
that's crazy.
It was actually a Sunday too, though. It was a Sunday. We was at a brunch. We was at a brunch in Houston, and I was in the freezer, and they was outside celebrating. And I came out, and they were celebrating even louder. And I was like, "Hey, I got something to tell y'all." And they was like, "Yeah, you signed your new contract." And I was like, "Yeah." So
the power of social media, Twitter, everything. Yeah. That's crazy.
But I just told him, I was like, let's just have Lamont have his day or whatever, then we'll come back and go to another spot and celebrate that.
Oh,
even more reasons to have parties.
That must have been a fantastic time. That is fascinating, though. Like, who do you know who the reporter was who broke the news?
I actually don't. All I know is my phone was slowly dying. I was sitting in the freezer. I was cold. I had on shorts. So it's just a funny story. Like, I think my draft day was funny too because I was outside, didn't even know that my name got called yet or whatever. I was on the phone with like my grandparents or whatever, talking to them, and someone just kept calling my phone. And I was like, decline. And then I was just talking to them, and somebody called again. I was like, hold on, grandma, let me get this. And then I got on the phone, and I was like, oh, I almost just canceled my own chances.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh my gosh. Well, to have two of the most memorable moments of your career thus far have these incredible corresponding stories. That's pretty good, man.
Yeah.
So you get drafted in the 3rd round, and initially things don't necessarily work out with Jacksonville the first couple of years, right? They end up waiving you. You go to the Jets, and you have become a mainstay on that defense to the point that you're rewarded with this new contract, a team that now has really high expectations, a lot of talent beyond just the new quarterback, which we'll ask you about as well. But for you, I don't know if it's, what was the difference or what was the evolution for you from the end of your Jacksonville experience to where you are now as this very significant contributor for the New York Jets?
So I can say that the most important thing was the actual coach who was there, Rudy. He's my linebacker coach now, but he was my first linebacker coach when I got into the league. So when I first got into the league, he was teaching me the position, but he was honored enough to get an upgrade in position at another team, so he ended up leaving. So and then when I got to the Jets, he basically said, he was like, all right, I'm back, let's get to work. So just like that person who's basically telling me like, you're a starter in this league, like he just sees everything, then all of a sudden he just buying into what he's saying now. And I also had CJ, I had veterans around me in Jacksonville. Miles Jack, he was very good, but CJ Mosley actually like taught me how to be a pro on the field and off the field, and I was just buying in. And I felt like in Jacksonville, I felt like everything was like moving too fast. It was like more like you got to come in and play right now. And let's be honest, I wasn't experienced at the position because I played safety in college. So it was really like time went by. So like my 3rd year, it was like I was catching on to things. But in Jacksonville, there was like, hey, it was new coaching changes too. And then new head coaching changes. And then also 2 whole different defenses. And they kind of had already told me like they brought their guys in. So I just took a step back, regathered myself, and just like, if I get a second chance, I'm going to make sure that chance count. And Jets, blessed Jets, came, took a chance on me, and also my brother is there too. So like my why is literally there with me. So instead of in Jacksonville, my why, I'm talking to him every day. I'm literally working next to my why now. Well, one of my whys, but my siblings are my why. Like why I do everything, why I work so hard, why am I waking up during the off season, getting another workout in type thing. So yeah, I think that was the difference really. And just style of defense we played, like really fast and getting to the ball. Everyone, that's like my superpower too, like just running fast to the ball. And then, so like my first year I had a couple of wear and tears where I was like out of place running to the ball, but I was making plays, but it's more like it can make or break me because you run into the ball, but it's just like, that's not your ball to make. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like it kind of just took their time with me for real.
I mean, coming out of college, not playing a position and then having that coach, like what were some of the things that he was, like trying to teach you and tell you in Jacksonville that helped you, when you got to the Jets and now getting them back? Because we had Alan Lazard on the pod, and that's what we talked about, like having that one coach and, somebody that believed in him and that, helped him take off in his career.
So doing the extra little things. So when in Jacksonville, my first year, before he left, Rudy actually took me out of practice. I mean, not out of practice, but after practice, to go through like the basic fundamentals of playing linebacker. Because at safety, you see everything. So I was trying to do the same thing at linebacker, and he was like, no, if you see a little, then you see a lot. So that mindset right there, he just started like just moving. It went from like just moving trash cans to like him calling me and be like, all right, what did you see here? Like he's just basically trying to learn, how am I, like how do I learn? And then like now we'll be in the meeting room and he'll ask me a question, and then people, like some of the players would be like, you know, like, where did he get that from? And then coaches just be like, he just sees it a lot different. Like he sees it in like reps, or he sees it in. So me, I'm like an imagery type person. So like if I see something, I have like good memories. So I can be like, all right, this is from the Bills play, or this play right here is from the Giants play, or something like that. So then he started coming back, talking to me the same way. And he was like, it's the same thing you did for the Bills. And then I remember the Bills play, and I'd be like, oh, okay, that makes sense. So I guess it was just like that change of like learning. I mean, like finding out how I learned. Basically, like took that time to find out how I learned. And then after meetings after, he was basically teaching me the same thing that I learned with everyone else, just in my way of learning.
How about, you know, we talked about this a little bit with Darren Waller, and he was really, he was very interesting about it, just the psychology of, you know, you get waived. You know, for a lot of people, I mean, that can be really destabilizing. You have this trajectory in your life and your career, your hopes and your dreams. All of a sudden, there's like a break put on it, right? And obviously, here's some of the ways that you've bounced back and continue to enhance your game. But how about just emotionally, psychologically? How did you deal with that period of time to get yourself back in the position you're in now, having the success that you are?
Really, it was more like a shocker, because I felt like, first of all, it's the most healthiest I've been. That training camp that I got waived, actually felt like I did. I mean, my coach was telling me that I was doing good, and all of a sudden to get called in to get waived, it was more like maybe the people when I got drafted, because when I first got drafted, they didn't have any film on me. And I remember the number one reporter, he was saying out of 500 or some player, Quincy wasn't on the list that I would have got drafted. So I mean, like that stuck with me. And then when I got cut, it's more like a damn, maybe he was right type mindset.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I talked, and then it went to, oh my God, like, am I going to have to get a real job now? Like, only thing I know is football now. Like, then it went all the way back to a funny thing, like, I got a degree. What did I get a degree in? Like, because I didn't do any interns. Like, I didn't do any interns, so it's more like, got a degree, but what do you do with this degree? Like, it's just a paper I bring in and be like, this is a receipt of showing like I know what I'm doing. So, but to be honest, I talked to my brother. My brother was the first person to call me. He was like, bro, you just like, I've been playing with guys, and also he played at Alabama with CJ Mosley now, Reuben Foster, all the Mac Wilson, all those top linebackers that on paper they're considered top linebackers. So he was like, bro, you'll be good in this league. Just hold off on it. Then I didn't really understand the coverage. I thought it was like over with. And then my agent called me. She was like, nah, you got 24 hours to get picked up. And then, so like that waiting time is like, you have no control. Like, there's no way you can send film and be like, oh, come get me, or like do a workout and be like, come get me. For 24 hours, you're sitting with yourself, and like, currently your career is over. Like, you might not be able to play football again. So with that mindset and actually feeling that, I just prayed about it and just kept telling myself, bro, if I do get another chance, when I get the next chance, I'm putting my all into it. And then as soon as the Jets called, I just went with that mindset, like, I never want to feel like that again. And then that's when everything just took off.
It's an awesome answer and terrific insight. It's also interesting, you know, hearing you, Quincy, and you use terms like my why and my superpower. Like, how did you sort of start thinking of things like that? Because to me, you're in your mid-20s. That sounds like a really mature approach and awareness for a young, person, never mind someone who deals with everything that an athlete does. What kind of got you to start thinking of things through that lens?
Really, the people I was surrounding myself with. So I'm from Birmingham, Alabama. There's a lot of stuff going on or whatever. But really, like, where I realized where I wanted to go, and I started surrounding myself with those people. And actually, one of those persons was my brother. You see what I'm saying? So I ended up going to a smaller school because of grades and stuff like that. But every single day, I'm doing my work at Murray State, but I'm also calling Quinnen, asking, like, what are these top caliber players who are, like, high on the draft board right now doing? And then actually talking to them, be like, what extra work are you guys working on? So, because at the NFL, everybody's at the same level, no matter what school you came from. So it was more like, and then my coach actually set me down, and he was like, all right, you're the best on like Murray State defense. So like that's small mind. Think about those guys who's like also gonna be in the draft also. So it's just like that mindset just made me take it to a whole nother level. And then I also had a good friend named Marcel Darius, who is from Alabama also. And so he was at Jacksonville, the same as I was in Jacksonville also. And then he just told me like, basically, you do the work. Like whatever you get is because you did it, not because someone else did it for you. So when I got drafted from a small school, Murray State, I'm the highest draft pick like in history, like since the school has been built or whatever. It's more like you did that impossible so you could continue doing it. So like with that mindset, really it just took off from there.
When you're at Murray State, are you thinking I'm going to be an NFL player?
I'm gonna be honest. When I was at Murray State, I was thinking about having fun and enjoying the moment. But it was just that one time, I like after a game, coach like came in, watched film, and he was just like, like, why did you take that play off? And I was like, I could have made that tackle if I wanted to. And then he was like, he was like, you're the best on this team. And then he started showing up film like Mac Wilson, showing me other film. Reuben Foster was the guy I like really, really looked at. And he started showing, he was like, these people play the same position and are fighting for the same job you're fighting for. So like right after that moment right there, it was more like, oh, I got to be better than them now. So it's like finding out what they were doing and stuff and then taking my game to the next level, because if it wasn't for grades, I'll be at a different one. I'm grateful for the opportunity they gave me, but like that's just my mindset where it was. And then, like I said, my brother's Quincy Williams, like he's like this top player, so he's having this success, and then he's also calling me, talking to me about it also. So we also got like a competitive nature, like just like having fun. And he'd be like, "How many sacks you had? How many tackles you had?" Like, and soon as I'm done with my games, because we played in the morning on the plane, I'm telling everybody, turn the game on. Like I'm watching my brother play. Like on the bus, hey, everybody be quiet. I'm watching my brother play. Type stuff. And meanwhile, same for him. So that's kind of like where it was.
But now y'all playing together, but growing up, what was it like? You growing up in Birmingham, I know y'all had to dominate playing pee-wee football. And did y'all play other sports growing up too?
Yeah, so it's three of us. It's three boys, actually. So I have a younger brother that also plays football. He's currently at Miles College, and his name is Giovanni Williams. But growing up, we were called the Great Trio. So every team we played on, we all played together. It was actually one year, it was Quinnen was at defensive line, and there were two linebackers, me and my brother.
Wow.
And then to a point where it was two defensive line, and then it was me at the point. But the way it looked, it was a triangle. So like we knew for a fact if we didn't play good, well, my dad also like instilled in us if we didn't play good that we were gonna lose basically. That's basically how he said it without saying that. And then so my dad was real hard on us about working out, nutrition-wise. So we woke up every morning working out, eating healthy and stuff like that. But then also when people like seeing success, like some of my friends start staying with us and stuff like that, working out, waking up in the morning, working out with us too. So that's kind of like, at first we were just doing it to just like be with each other. Like, Quinnen's waking up, because I didn't even play football first. I didn't care about football. I was a swimmer, and I'm actually a junior Olympic swimmer.
Wow.
So it got to a point where we ended up switching sports. We got in an argument one day, and I was like, my gold medal is worth more than your tackles. Like, I got gold medal, they're gold. And then one of the statement has always been, one day my tackles going to be worth more than your gold medals. And he got taken first round, and now his tackles are worth more than my gold medals. But that's actually how I started playing football, like us just competing with each other and then actually getting to play on the field with each other. Then he swam, then we played. And then someone told us like, all right, y'all athletes, but y'all don't play every sport. So we took that and like every summer we did a different sport. We ended up playing tennis together.
Wow.
Then do golf, then do baseball, play basketball together. So it was just like soccer together. So we just started taking off just doing different sports because we wanted to become like actual athletes. So it's like one dude told us like, you can't be an athlete if you don't play all sport. Boom. Then we took off track.
Track. We talk about this all the time on the pod.
Yeah, we do.
Like how well, and we talk about different aspects, but like how specialization where you spend all your time on one sport really does a disservice to you in so many other ways, right?
Yeah, so because I'm a swimmer, like my arms are really long now. My stamina was real good, so I give it up to that. And then also, like, just I say tennis and when it came up, my eye and hand, that's the hardest.
It's the hardest sport.
That's the hardest sport. And now they got something called like pickleball, so you're like even closer.
Yeah. I can play pickleball. I got bad knees, so I can't play tennis, but I can do pickleball. I'm good at pickleball.
So do you still swim, Quincy?
Condition wise, yes. Competitively, no, because my body fat has, not my body fat, but my muscle mass actually has slowed me down a lot. But conditioning wise, yes. Swim during the off season.
What was the peak of your swimming accomplishments? I'm guessing Junior Olympics. How old were you when you were at your best?
I think I stopped after the eighth grade. So when I got to high school is when my dad basically came to me and said, hey, you're going to have to pick a sport to compete in, because I was playing football, so I had to gain weight. But then during the summertime when I used to swim, I had to lose all my weight. So that's kind of like how my weight started fluctuating and stuff like that. And then it became a point he was like, hey, this is actually getting rough on your body. Like, you got to choose. Yeah. So, and then it was like my mom was a school teacher also. So my mom ended up passing the breast cancer in 2010 when I first got to high school. So that's the point. It was kind of like she wanted all her kids to get college degrees and stuff. So now it was a point of what sport, since I played all of them, what sport can I like be Pacific in and then actually go to college for? So get a free education, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I ended up picking football. I mean, track, I was good, 4-time high jump state champion, tied with Bo Jackson, 7 even for the 5A high jump state record. So,
wow,
man, I did a lot of sports and stuff. So, but my brother also did them with me though.
Yeah,
that's really cool, man. That's a really, I mean, it obviously thinking of your mother's wisdom steered you well, because here you are succeeding in the NFL. I'm curious, if you would have kept swimming, do you think you would have been an Olympian?
Olympics for sure.
Wow.
For sure.
For sure. Like, one question asked, and then I realized you couldn't go to college for it. So, I mean, like, you had to get like the college thing was like, I didn't really understand it when I was younger.
Yeah. And
then I was just like, do like college, swimming, football, track. Like, which one I'll get like bored of, and I was like, Then I started saying like the Olympics was on like a certain amount of time a year.
Yeah.
Football it is.
Well, also when you're swimming, don't you have to? Isn't it like super early in the morning when you have practice when you're a swimmer?
Yeah, so outdoor pools and indoor pools are like different. So my dad actually got us into it just for like conditioning, and it was like hot outside. And then we ended up going, so we was at a traditional pool, then we went to Olympic size pool, like draining. But we swim like first thing in the morning, like 5 or 6. And then just like what you eat really determined what our workout was. So like, my dad let us eat whatever we want, but it determines what our workout is going to be the next day. So, like, if my brother ate bad, we're going to be punished tomorrow. So he was like, the freedom is like, he basically let us eat what we want to eat, do what we want to do, go to sleep whatever time you want to go out. But it was mandatory that we had workouts starting at 5 a.m. So it was like, You did what you wanted to do, but at 5 a.m., you're going to be right there running outside. Then you're going to swim. Then you're going to lift weight. You're going to drink your protein shake. Then you're going to practice after school. So it was good now because I had a good schedule when I got to college. I didn't have to like adapt or anything like that.
Makes you accountable for like what your next day is going to be like.
Yeah. You're looking at that burger. You're looking like, I'm going to just go home and cook.
I mean, that is what an awesome way to teach accountability. See, because I'm thinking like, okay, you could do what you want, but there's a tax for that. Like, because this isn't changing. That's pretty good.
Now, wait, I done had some of my days where I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna stay up late and wake up at 5 and I'm throwing up on the sideline. And he's just like, come on. Listen, I done had my days where I picked the wrong decision. I was like, I'm gonna be good. Now I done had days now.
Oh, that's amazing. How about Quincy playing for Robert Saleh? And, you know, a guy who obviously had a lot of success on the defensive side of the ball as a D coordinator in San Francisco. Now here with the Jets. Last year, I know season didn't end the way you guys wanted to, but by and large, a successful building block season for you guys. What stands out about the way he coaches, and especially as a defensive player, how you connect with him as a head coach?
Really with him is the physicality part of things. So it's getting the job done, but being efficient at it. So that means not, all right, so if you running 10 yards, if you have a drop, like doing it smoothly and correctly instead of all out burst, running all crazy and stuff like that. So it's mostly like the efficiency of it. Like this is what we're trying to get accomplished. Just get it accomplished type thing. So really, and then also it's more like, all right, I'm giving you a job and then you make it your own. So he give us the freedom to actually play our own defense, like how we feel and stuff like that. So he'll give us like a cover three, then boom, we can dictate it how we want as long as we get the job done type thing. So it's a lot of freedom in it also, but it's a trust thing too though. So like he's basically trusting us to go outside, go out there on the field, make the checks that we want to make and we need to make to succeed. That's the biggest thing. And then also the running and hitting part.
He likes that, huh?
Yeah.
How about, we'll ask you about the new rock star you have at quarterback here with the Jets. I saw a story where you were talking about, hey, you were a little starstruck when Aaron first got there, warming up next to him, right? What did that feel like?
Man, just being in the I don't know. I'm going to be honest, being in the prison zone, just like, all right, I'm going to get to go against this guy every single day. He's going to be able to add value to me just in practice because MVP. So, like, he knows he's played against guys that, let's be honest, are better than me or they can compete with me. So he's going to give me tips on things like that. So it's just like, just the knowledge is in his brain, just picking his brain and stuff like that, knowing that you have that person on the same team as you and not going against you. Like, you're learning from him. And then when you go against other quarterbacks, it's like, all right, this is what he said he's looking at and stuff like that. So off the field, oh, he's a true leader, like for real. Like, just ask him questions anytime, cool with it. Very laid back, chill. So it's very cool.
He also elevates the expectations for the team, right?
Yeah.
Like, what is that something that is discussed amongst you guys? Is that something you just feel? Do you now look at this group and say, hey, we can compete for a Super Bowl this season?
Yeah, it's a feeling. So, like, his first day of report day, it was more, when he reported, it was more like, it was a feeling of like, all right, y'all, let's go. So, like, my feeling was, all right, I want to actually see him playing, so let's get this man the ball more. Yeah. So that was my mindset. So that's my mindset. I want to sit on, like, I actually want to get him the ball back. Let's get 3 and now so we can sit on the sideline and watch this man do his thing. Like, that's the type of mindset we had took. And then really, like, last year was more like an eye-opener for us. And then that's why I ended up coming back. That's why I signed my contract to come back this year.
You know what's crazy is when you play with guys like that or like you get on teams that are really good, you feel like you don't have to do as much. Like, you don't have to go out and just do your job. If I do my little part, and because everybody's great and they do their part, we're going to beat the shit out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it takes a lot of pressure off when guys like that show up in your locker room.
Yeah. That's that's the mindset right there. Do your job. I ain't finna be the one that this finna be fall on, so I'm gonna do my job. You feel me? He gonna do his job, so let me do my job so he can do it, so I can watch him do his job.
Is that how you felt in 09, C? With how
just anytime when I came to the Yankees, like, because they do so much to put us in position to, win the division and ultimately try to win the World Series, that you just feel like you need to do your little part. You don't have to. I don't have to go out and try to win 20 games. It may happen by me just going out and try to win one every single night, but that's not the ultimate goal. The ultimate goal is just to win. And by the culture and the nature of that changing, it just elevates your game.
It's funny, like even we were talking to Glaber Torres from the Yankees about this, like in his approach, right? And he was saying not chasing pitches as much because he knows Judge is behind him, Stan's behind him. They got his back. The other interesting thing, talking to Alan Lazard, Quincy, and then we saw some comments from Aaron Rodgers as well. These guys are in love with Nathaniel Hackett. Like, he has a lot to do with their excitement about being here. As a defensive player, do you have interactions with him that make you see, like, okay, I see why these guys feel as strongly as they do about him?
So not yet, just because kind of like the offense and defense are like on their own, but like towards training camp or OTAs, later in OTAs, just like after we've had a practice against them, just be like, just come into it and just be like, what are certain things that I need to work on? Like, what are certain things that you're seeing? So,
oh, nice.
I go to Aaron Rodgers all the time and just be like, bro, what did you see that made you throw that? Or like, do you see holes what holes do you see in our defense? So we played against him last year. So as soon as he got here, it was more like picking his brain on, like, where did you see our weaknesses was? And then he'll just come out and tell you and be like, well, like me, he came out and tell me like, hey, well, I seen your ankle was hurting and you had just came back from 2 weeks or whatever. So I knew you was going to favor your left side over your right side. So like, it's just like, if he was to come out and say that, it was more like ooh, all right, bet this is what he's looking at type thing.
Yeah. That's going to be pretty cool. Quincy, you are awesome, man. You're obviously become such a good, consistent, big part of this Jets defense, and congratulations on the contract. Fascinating. I mean, the swimming thing just still blows my mind that you were this, because like, some people play different, you know what I'm saying? See, like, we have people come on and talk about the different sports growing up. I don't think we've ever had a swimmer before, though.
No, I don't think we had a competitive swimmer. Nah, for
sure. Awesome. But you have such a dynamic personality. You're absolutely crushing it, and we really appreciate the time today, Quincy. Continued success to you, man, and I hope that your group is the group that ends the Jets Super Bowl drought, because this city will be on fire.
Yes, it will.
I appreciate you guys having me on here for real.
Thank you, Quincy.
Good luck the rest of the way, bro.
All right.